So far this year, we've been talking about intentions and had a couple little processes, things that we can do to empower those intentions. The first one that we talked about was the what do you really want? And through that, we were able to discover some of the underlying traits that we want to experience on a deeper level. You know, if we want a new car, then we might have the desire to have a more comfortable environment, a safer environment. It could be anything. And when we dig deeper and deeper and deeper, what we find is that on the inside, you know, our deep desire is could be anything to, you know, security. It could be more love, value, worth. You know, through this process, we discover these things. And what we also know is that when we recognize that that's what we desire, what we can know, because those traits on that level are attributes of God, we can know that they're already within us. So it's not about getting to it and finding it. It's about opening awareness to what we already have. And anyway, so went through that process. We talked about creating, building the foundations. But we're going to go even today. Today we're going to be talking about a process. Our the spiritual leader, International, he calls it the life visioning process. Or that he introduced. He may not have created it, but he's the person that I learned it from. And this process helps us go even deeper with our intentions, with those feelings that we wanted. It's about integrating all of this so that everything we do, everything we desire, everything that we experience, that we want, all come from a place of truth, divine spiritual truth. Now it's important to come from that place, because I said it 100 times in here or more, and I probably will say it that many more before I'm done. We are spiritual beings having human experiences. Somehow we got turned around along the way, and we have come to believe, many of us, have come to believe that we're human beings in search of spiritual truth, in search of spiritual experience. That's not our truth. We will just run, and it'll be like the tail chasing the dog, tail wagging the dog. We'll never get anywhere. The truth is we're spiritual beings, and we're having a human experience. So if we approach this human experience from our knowing of spiritual truth, we're gonna make some progress. We're going to start figuring some things out. Our awareness is going to open up. Our truth is going to be expressed, and that's what this process is all about. So I'm just going to kind of walk through all of this. If you want to recall now one of your intentions, these questions you can ask these questions of your intentions or about your intentions, or you can ask these questions about yourself. Because these questions, the answers that you find here, work in both the intentions that you set and also in your life experience and expression. So you begin with a prayer. And this prayer is this: I center myself and recognize the infinite, divine, unconditional love. I am one in it. I step into that space absolutely knowing I am unconditionally loved. I sit in silence. I let divine love relax and center me. And that's the prayer. This prayer is to prepare you mentally and spiritually for the life visioning process, which we're going to get to here in a second. So you just repeat this prayer as often as it's needed to open your realization of the truth that is you, one in God. When you can open to the truth of you, you have opened you to receive to become aware of the answers that are going to come in this process. So this prayer can be made at the beginning of your journey of manifestation. It can be made at the beginning of this life visioning process. It can be made at the beginning of every step you make. Because all you're doing is you're asking to be open and aware, cognizant of the truth that is you. Okay, that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. We are letting everything fall away that's not part of that truth. Because if you ask these questions and you allow a feeling of unworth to remain in your mind, you're going to get a total different set of answers than you will if you do this knowing truth. And unworth is not one of your truths. So, this process, this life visioning process, like I said, it's a series of questions. First is, what is God's highest idea or highest version of, and now you can put in me. What's God's highest version of me? What's God's highest version of my intention? What's God's highest version of my relationship? What's God's highest version of, fill in the blank. If you're working on intentions, put your intention in there. What is God's highest version of my intention? The thing here with all of these questions is be very, very open to how answers come. For the longest time, I would say a prayer and I'd expect to hear this big booming, "Yes, Kenny, you're correct." Doesn't always come in words. It doesn't always come in signs. I have noticed that for me, if I ask questions that are yes and no answers, I usually see something that makes me go, I think I might have it. You know, ask a question on a deep spiritual swooping over. You know, to me, that's a sign. Okay, I need to tune in. And for me, a hawk is a very positive thing, so that's a yes answer. But it can be anything. It can be that you ask these questions, and 10 minutes later you pick up a magazine and there's an answer. You turn on the TV, there's an answer. Answers can come from anywhere and be anything, so be very, very careful not to get caught up in how it comes to you. Because if you're expecting the big booming voice, you might miss a whole lot. What happens here is as you ask these questions and you allow questions to come, you're basically downloading. And let whatever it is come in, because your soul, your spirit, your truth knows truth. It knows what that answer is. And the more open you are to it, the more open you are to receive it on a level that you can understand it in your mind. The second question, what must I become in order to empower this intention, this life, this whatever the answer was to question one? What must I become in order to empower us? Now, this is not about changing you on the level of truth. You're not changing. What this could be read, what must I open awareness to that is me in order to get this? Because you're already anything that you need to become. It's just we got to peel away some of the things that you don't need to be. If you have things that are not aligned with truth, peel those away. Truth is revealed. What you need to become is revealed. It's not really your becoming. You're just opening awareness, expressing it. There it is. The next question, what must I release? We've talked a lot about that for a few weeks. What do you have to let go of? What do you have to let go of? Do you have a belief that you're unworthy that's preventing you from having worth, prosperity, whatever? Do you have a feeling of, if you have a belief system, I'm ill, and that plays in your mind over and over and over again, every time a little symptom or perceived symptom pops up, you're going to have a lifestyle of illness. It's opening to truth. Your spiritual being cannot possibly be ill. It's impossible, because your spiritual being is God expressing in you, as you, through you. There is no illness in that. When you start buying into the spiritual truth of you, the physical truth of you has no choice but to start manifesting truth. It may not happen overnight. It could. I don't know the time frame. And what we do know is that time is a human made-up thing. So how much of that matters? But and it might. It might be important to you, and if so, make it work for you. The next question. And this is the one that we stumble on quite a bit. You would think that it'd be real easy. The next question is, what must I embrace? What must I receive? What must I accept? We stumble on this sometimes because we have gone so long believing that we're not worthy, or that we're not good enough, or whatever it is that has prevented us from being that. We've gone so long believing that something about it that it's real hard to let it go and say, yes, I am. For me, I've talked over the past couple of weeks, being valued has been something that I've struggled with. Being worthy has been something I've struggled with, I guess, my entire life. I have to receive the truth that I'm worthy. I have to receive that. It's not that I have to go get it. I don't have to go find it. I don't have to go discover it or work for it. I have to receive it. I have to embrace it. I have to accept it. We all have to accept truth. And your truth is whole and beautiful and perfect. The next question, is there anything else, any other information that I need to know in this moment? This question requires, I'm going to say, just for lack of any other words coming to mind, I'm going to say this question requires a little more work. The other ones you can ask, and you can kind of do a little bit here and there to try to open yourself to those answers. This one requires a little more prayer. You're going to pray from your heart filled with gratitude, expectancy, faith. You're going to pray, is there anything else? What more do I need to know? And in that prayer, you close it. You say that prayer however you need to, but you close it with, I am open, I am willing, I am ready to shine, I am ready, Spirit. Use me. Because not only are you searching for this deeper spiritual truth for your experience, you're searching for avenues, outlets, understanding of how to express it. Because God is in us, as us, through us. So we're not to take these things that we're discovering and just keep them bottled up inside. We've talked many times about the more we love, the more we show gratitude, the more we show peace, the more we show kindness, the more we receive. The more you give, the more you receive. That's what all this is about. We're not just trying to bottle all this stuff up to save for a rainy day. We are uncovering these truths, opening awareness to all of this so that we can experience it and express it. So as you're going through this, a lot of people like to take notes about what happened in the process with each one of the questions. Some people just wait till the end and just have a big, long documentation of what they just experienced. Some people don't do it at all. Some people just have a mental documentation of going on. But the key here is document it somehow. Because I promise you, if you went through this absolutely perfect to where every answer you could possibly imagine on the deepest level, the greatest truths came to you, next week the world is going to happen again. And our tendency is to go back to where we were before we ever even learned about this process. So find a way to document it. And when the world starts acting up, refer back to your documentation. And the thing about this documentation is if you write down today, if you go through this process today and you write down everything that you experienced, everything you came to understand, everything you discovered, and then tomorrow you kind of reflected back on it and thought about it again, you do stuff to add. Because your truth is infinite. And our human brains don't have the capability of understanding the fullness of that infinite truth of you. So it's going to be constantly adding as you constantly refer back. So have this documentation so that you can grow further, so that you can use it to assist when life happens. It really helps. Now, one of the ways to help understand how all of this spiritual development stuff works is to learn the stages of spiritual development. You've heard of the stages of grief? Well, there's stages of spiritual development. The first stage that we go, and while these things are stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, while there are 4 stages and they kind of grow from one to the other, as humans, when life happens, we can jump around. It's not necessarily that we start one place and move and then never come off of that. You know, we get to the highest level of this spiritual development, life happens, we will still revert back sometimes. And sometimes you'll revert back to stage 1, sometimes stage 3. But awareness of what's going on is key. So very quickly, stage 1, this is when we have the belief that life is happening to me. Like, oh, that happened out there, now I've got this going on, I feel this. That puts us in victim mode. Or we're in victim mode when we think of life as happening to me. If you find yourself there and you would like to evolve out of that, it's very simple. You must give up blame, you must give up shame, and you must stop believing that you are a victim. Period. We can't blame, because if we blame, we are just covering up the fact that something went on that we need to figure out, that we need to understand. If we're blaming, we can't understand. If we have shame upon ourselves, we can't understand, because we are using that as a cloud or a wall between us and truth. If we believe we're a victim, we never will figure it out, because we're going to be waiting on somebody else to figure it out for us. Stage 2, life is happening by me. Not next to, by me. I am making life happen. As we evolve from the victimhood, and release the blame and the shame and the guilt, we learn that God is within me, and there is a law that I can use to effect changes and claim dominion over my life. Divine principle, divine law. It is activated through our thoughts. If we believe we have power over what's happening to us, around us, if we believe we have power to respond in a way that matches up with our truth, we're in this stage. Life is happening by me. Stage 3, life is happening through me. Now this is starting to get cool. Continuing to evolve, we let go of control. So all this stuff happening around us, on stage 2, we are understanding that we can affect this by the way we think, by the way we respond. Stage 3 is almost, it's not quite just saying whatever. But you get that relief. To change this, I've got to make this, the changes that are needed, the truth that is exposed, the experiences all happen through you. God happening and expressing through you. You've come to understand it is not me, but the Father within that's doing the work. This stage is the invitation to build our faith and know that because of our truth, all is well. How much more comforting and peaceful would that mentality, that belief system be over, I've got to fix this. This doesn't mean you don't do anything, but you let go of the need to do something and you allow divine presence to do the work, and you're a witness. Stage 4, life is happening as me. In this stage, I release the last vestiges of separation and realize complete identification with God. Now, why is that important? There's going to be a lot of churches, a lot of religions that will say, you're not God. How can you even think along those lines? If we know our truth, that God is omnipresent, He's within me. He's part of me. I'm in God. He's omnipotent. God's strength everywhere present. Therefore, it is within me. It is there for me to use. It is there to guide me, protect me, strengthen me. God is omniscient. That is all-wise, all-knowing. There is nothing God does not know. And since God is omniscient, the omni part of that tells us the wisdom of God is everywhere present, now and always. Infinite. Therefore, I can access that. I am one in that. I say I can access it. I should rephrase that and say I acknowledge and I understand. Knowing that truth, life is dealt with on a spiritual, divine level. My job is to witness it, to express my truth into it, to experience it as whole. A reminder, these stages, we might start at one place and move through. It might jump in at different places, but we're always dealing with one of these. We're either believing that life is happening to me, life is happening by me, life is happening through me, or life is happening as me. I personally like the last one most. Life is happening as me. And my choice is to live with that knowing. Now, I admit, my human side jumps in the way a lot. But when I remember these stages, I go back to that. So now we take all of this information. We take all of the information from the what do you really want process, the affirmations that we did, the release process that we did, the life visioning process. We take all of this information and we apply it in our lives. We apply it. Because what good is it if we, even if we go so far as to write it all down, what good is it if we write it down and put it away? We apply this. We apply it in everyday life, whether it's working or dealing with something at work, dealing with something in a... We apply this stuff. If you've gone through all of this and you have discovered that being is one of your core attributes, use it. Go into every project with the belief that I am worthy. So do that. Use these things. Bring them together and use them. Remember to let go of the things that don't align with your truth. And let your truth lead you in all you do. So let's close in prayer. Father God, we are grateful for this experience we call life. Each moment of each day offers opportunity to awaken further awareness of our inseparable relationship with Spirit, with Christ consciousness, with God eternal. Each experience invites us closer to pure enlightenment and deeper understanding of our inseparable unity with God in all things. God, we ask only that we awaken more deeply to our truths. As we understand our truth, allow us to share our truth. Allow us to elevate and expand our understanding of truth. And allow us to know that infinite truth, infinite good, infinite love, infinite peace are already within. We know all this and even more to be true, and so it is. Amen.